What if I told you Netflix's newest true story isn't that true at all? You've probably seen Monster, the Ed Gein story, trending in the top 10. It's dark, it's disturbing, and it claims to show the truth about one of America's most infamous killers. But what if the truth got buried? Because behind the dramatized murders, the fake love story, and the Hollywood lighting, there's a real Ed Gein, and his story is far more horrifying than anything Netflix dared to tell. This is a true story of how Netflix twisted a monster into a myth. To understand how Netflix went wrong, you first need to understand who Ed Gein really was. He wasn't a serial killer in the traditional sense. He was a reclusive man from Plainfield, Wisconsin, a town of less than 1,000 people, where everyone knew everyone, until they didn't. Between 1947 and 1957, Gein became obsessed with death. He dug up graves, he exhumed bodies, he made furniture, masks, and clothing from human remains. It sounds impossible, like something out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Psycho, and that's because it was. Those movies were inspired by him. But here's the key detail Netflix missed. Gein was only convicted of 2 murders: Mary Hogan, a tavern owner, and Bernice Worden, a hardware store clerk. 2 confirmed victims. That's it. Everything else was rumor, folklore, and fear. And that's exactly where Netflix stepped in. In Monster, the Ed Gein story, Netflix paints a picture of Gein as a tragic, conflicted man. A man haunted by his mother, but capable of love. They introduce a new character, Adeline Watkins, a supposed neighbor and love interest, someone who saw the good in him. It's poetic, it's cinematic, it's also completely made up. In real life, Adeline Watkins did exist, but she never had a romantic relationship with Gein. There's no record of letters, no diary entries, no police testimony suggesting anything beyond acquaintance. The show even suggests she helped him cover up crimes. That never happened. And then there's the biggest stretch of all, linking Gein to other unsolved murders. The show dramatizes the disappearance of a nurse, the killing of a local woman, and even hints that Gein may have crossed paths with Ted Bundy. Historically, completely false. Bundy was a child when Gein was arrested. Their lives never intersected, but it makes for a good script, right? Netflix leans into the psychological angle, showing Gein hallucinating, talking to his dead mother, and wrestling with guilt. But experts say that portrayal oversimplifies his real mental illness. Gein was diagnosed with schizophrenia and psychosis, not cinematic delusion. He wasn't haunted by ghosts. He was consumed by obsession. He didn't kill because of love or lust. He killed because of control, confusion, and a lifetime of religious fear planted by his abusive mother. It's not a love story. It's a horror story. Critics noticed the pattern immediately. The Sun called it a Hollywood fiction. True crime author Harold Schechter said it invented entire crimes to fill screen time. Even historians who studied Gein's case labeled it disrespectful to both the victims and the truth. Because Netflix didn't just dramatize events, they rewrote them. They showed Bernice Worden as flirtatious, suggesting a strange chemistry with Gein. In reality, she was a kind, no-nonsense store owner, murdered in cold blood. They turned Plainfield, a quiet, grieving town, into a gothic nightmare filled with fog and folklore. And they gave Ed Gein something he never had: sympathy. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Netflix knew exactly what they were doing.